We're in Port Macquarie Adventist Church, and I'm now here to show you how to begin a creation room and how to teach creation. I started with nothing. I had no idea, I had no scientific knowledge, and I certainly wasn't young. So if I can do it, anyone can do it. You just start and God provides. And it just grows, and it grows with you. And so let's go and check it out. We'll go around the room and let's check what we can do. I'm here to share some of the resources, and the one that has helped me the most is an Ellen White one in the beginning. You can see I've almost worn the pages of this, and it's about the flood and the beginning, because the Bible, the first creation, corruption, catastrophe, confusion, the main part is only 11 pages, so it's like the skeleton. But Ellen White fills in all of the rest. It's like the flood. She explains the trees. They were huge, they were absolutely beautiful. The grain was so fine, but it was like stone, and that's why Noah took 120 years to build the ark. There's so many interesting facts. That is great to have. You can buy all sorts of things. You get them from Kurong. You only get them when they're on 20% special. There's lots about dinosaurs. You can get them from answersingenesis.org or creation.com. This series was fantastic. The pictures, God Created series. I'm not sure whether they're available now. These were some of the best I ever had, because they were pictures and they were brilliant. And I've used those time and time and time again. We also cover things like archaeology, ecology, all this. And at the end of the year, when we do our Creation Sabbath, I remember when I went to Sunday school as a child, we always got a book award. And I have the book award my dad got when he went to Sunday school in 1910. So, and I was so sad when people don't get books anymore. So I start collecting books early in the year when the sales are on, and I get them for the subjects, the age level, and there's dozens of books you can get. And I put a certificate in them, and the kids are so proud that they get a book, because they give up their time on Sabbath afternoon once a month. And so it's another way of getting the information out. And when we do creation, it's all about learning. Books like this, when I've seen them on special, they might get down to $10. I would buy about 20 of them, $15 postage from creation.com, and the parents would buy them for $10. This is a great one to have on the Ice Age. Kids love the Ice Age, absolutely love it. And when we did Mount St. Helens volcano, I knew nothing. I had never heard of dendritic river systems, pyroclastic flows, all of this I learnt with the children. And this is all sorts of activities. The children had one of these books each, and we learnt an incredible amount out of that. Charts are terrific to show, the charts. And here's Noah and where the flood was. And you can see the ages, and it's fabulous. There's lots of little books you can buy. I often give these if the children are well behaved in Sabbath school. And the series I had when I first started, I'm not sure, beginnings, and that taught me how to do it. And I would make up things. I always believed in giving kids resources, and I would colour the pictures, and the kids, there's so much information that was out of these books. And the kids would see it visually. I also coloured the kids' books, about 300 pictures one day. I know, it was crazy. And then there are dozens and dozens. I would have a bookshelf full of books, And I encourage the books, and my granddaughter, I used to buy books for her all the time, and she just read and read. She just couldn't get enough of it. And I wanted to show you, this is the first Adventist creation book. And you don't have to worry about burning hell and all the incorrect doctrines. This should be in every single Adventist home. It's a primary age book, but people in their 80s and 90s do it. It's from South Africa, Nicole Phil Malta. It's absolutely beautiful. I would highly recommend it. It's just, I learnt so much. And people in their 80s said, how come this is primary? It's beautiful. It's $20. I have them, and I send out this with a pack of other things. My grandson calls it his Jesus book because it's important to talk about Jesus. It's important to have that one. That is even in a Christadelphian Sunday school in Tasmania. Lots of people. And this is a high school one. It's twice as big. It's $30. But this is a textbook. It's very thick. This is $30, but it's brilliant. It covers everything. This should, if you have a high school child, you need to have these. So those two together. And this is the pack. You can see I'm a kindergarten teacher. I do everything pretty. Nothing is plain. My husband thinks it's crazy. But this is the bag you can get from the Creation Sabbath. And I'll just show you a few of the things I have in here. Now, I have in here also 4 CDs with beautiful age-appropriate creation songs, and the kids absolutely love them. So I've put this together with the words. I don't have we just usually use the CD. They're all Buddy Davis. They're fabulous. There's the most beautiful ones. Any of the song I didn't particularly like, I didn't put in. So I have put interesting things like, do you know? They're the important things about the age of the earth. I've also put some calendars to show you where you get resources. One of the best resources is calendars. I buy 2 or 3 of them and I cut them up and laminate them. You need to have a laminator. Number 1, A3 laminator. I am the champion at laminating. And you get beautiful pictures. One of the calendars was on kind. One of them, What is Evolution? There's beautiful calendars from Creation Ministries in Brisbane and Answers in Genesis every year, and you get 13 beautiful pictures. Here's another one from a calendar. They're just beautiful. And another one on science. These are fascinating things. And I've put some of these. These are, I've got every one that was ever done from Answers magazine from America. And it's on cats. They're so interesting. And the animals before the ark. And what I would do is I'd photocopy this back part if I didn't buy 2 of them, photocopy that, laminate them, and then laminate this. And I'd often get 2 of those. And they're beautiful pictures. I've got them on every topic. This is another one. They're just fabulous pictures. I'd laminate those 2 and put that as a picture. Now, where would you get pictures like that? They're just beautiful. So you can start, when I started I had none, so I just started collecting these, and they often have these on special, Answers in Genesis. Here's another one. And the kids just read these. I put these on the wall. They're no good in a cupboard. And the kids go up and they read them. They read everything off the wall. Bugs, they love these. But remember, you photocopy one side and put the other side. They're just beautiful. I have about 50 of these on every subject. So these sort of things. A Creation magazine, they are brilliant. I had a little Asian boy from the school used to come to the Creation last year, and a lady gave me a whole heap of back copies of Creation magazines. So after our lesson, I said to the children, anyone come and get any magazines they want, because the kids love reading these. They're beautiful. And this little Asian boy was like a little professor with his glasses, and he stood back politely, and at the end, when everyone had got their magazines, he took the rest, a big pile, and I said, what on earth are you going to do with those, Yo-Yo? And he said, I am going to read these, and then I'm going to give these to all my atheist friends at school so they can become Christians. Boy, that makes you feel good when they say things like that. So, and also, little booklet, The Biblical Answer to Racism, and these are really important bookmarks. I say to the kids, 7 C's of history: creation, corruption, catastrophe, confusion, Christ and the cross. The Bible is the history of the universe. There's the days of the week and the armour. And they love these. I think I've got 4 in this one, the armour of God. And then these are fantastic. You can get these on special often. There's a whole series of them, and they're comic books. And the kids love them. There's so much information in these. I couldn't believe it. So there's a series of 8 of those. I gave every child a set of those. And when I was at Heritage, I used to give every child a whole set. It cost me a small fortune. I used to make up a folder, and I'd get permission to copy the DVDs, and I would do up to, I'd buy 1,200 at a time. And then in this folder, there's 4 CDs with the songs on them. And then here there's 3 USB sticks. One's got 62 on them. Fabulous programs for kids, fabulous to start with. 10-minute programs, nature ones, like there's one on bees, and the kids love bees. And I would show them that, and then I'd do out a piece of paper and do a hexagon and draw a couple of strokes, and then say to them, go to your seat and you have to fill up. I'll give you 3 minutes. You have to fill up. You have been to school. The bees haven't been to school. They haven't been to university. They all work together, and yet they get it perfect. Now go and see. No rubbers. I'll allow you a pencil. And they sit there and you hear them saying, how are they so clever? No child can do it, and yet the bees can. And I tell them about the computer, brilliant programs on that. There's another one with 43. I have written about every program. They are amazing. There's enough here to keep you going till Jesus comes. And the third one is the best series I've ever had. If you've got children from teens right through and young adults, do this. It's The Rocks Cry Out. It's the best series I have seen. We need to start with young adults. You start with kids. We need to teach everyone in the church. So there's enough information. There's enough here to get you started. Well and truly. It's 1,000 times more stuff than I had when I started. So this is just the beginning. If you look, you can start getting them and start buying your grandkids things like this. What better gift? What better gift could you give them? My daughter-in-law bought one for herself, one for Charlie. He reads his. He just loves it. He just goes through and through and through this. It is beautiful. Please, every home, Adventist home in Australia needs that. Please contact me or the Port Macquarie Church, get my details, and as well, I send you other things to go with it. Right, another thing I forgot to mention for children, if you go to answersingenesis.org or creation.com and click on the top for kids, they have all sorts of things. They have dozens of DVDs you can watch, craft, all sorts of ideas. There's everything. So I hope I've inspired you to get started. Even if you have a tiny little church, even if there are no children, start for adults. It doesn't matter. We're all children in adults' clothing. These things can be for adults. They don't know this information. And if you want any further information, I'm very happy if you contact me or contact the conference. And I hope you can start on this amazing journey like I have. Go out in space and see down the world, see down and see the world through different eyes. Well, here is our room. Being a teacher, I believe everything being visual, and this is, we teach off the wall. I always have kids on the floor and we teach, and they can see it. It's so important they see it. And creation, the first part, and there we read it and go over and over and over. See, God is a God of order. 3 days to get everything ready, and these were living things, not alive. And then he started filling up the atmosphere, filling up the land, and then on the seventh day he filled it with himself. And then we come to corruption, so that's why we've got the colour behind. And this is the Garden of Eden. The dinosaur, thank goodness, has stopped. The battery's worn out because the kids always wanted to get on it, but no way. And it's great to show them, see the size of the ark, and there's the myth. And that's the one people have all the time. And then seeing confusion. And then Christ. And I'll put in a plug, this is my son's paintings. philmckay.com. They're beautiful. And then the cross. But the interesting thing is, you notice those first 4, the world's divided into 7, are only 11 pages. And then this is it. Then we get up to consummation. We couldn't have heaven because it had to start with C. And this is what the children love. They watch this, look at this with their eyes, not their hands, the Tower of Babel, and they're able to understand. Didn't have the 7 levels. We didn't have enough room. The ceiling wasn't high enough. But the kids love this and they can understand. They know the story, so, and all the hallows and the descendants of Noah. I put everything on the wall so they can read it and learn. And this is an easy way to understand kinds. God made the feline kind, all the different cats, the different canine kinds, and they can't interbreed their kinds. And then last of all, he made mankind. We did not come from the monkeys. And so this is one that really confused a lot of the older people, seniors. They thought I was teaching millions of years, the Ice Age. And people didn't realise the flood caused the Ice Age straight after. This was fun making. All of these little people, fiddly, and we got the different animals. And we did a program, creation Sabbath program on the Ice Age. The kids absolutely loved it. So I just keep putting pictures up. This chart, I'm not sure, I can't remember where I got it, but it's absolutely brilliant. And to show the children, that's 10 years. And if you show them 7 years, that's about how the average age is, and in perspective. These glass cabinets, they love to see this. This all just happened, just slowly you get things. I kept changing in the beginning, but it's now like this. I got this from the GC, Tim Standish, from the General Conference when he came to visit, gave me some butte fossils. They love to learn about the trilobites and the ammonites. These were some of the first creatures at the bottom of the sea, some of the first creatures God made. How could they evolve? They are so complex. Dinosaurs is one of their favourites, absolutely. And this is the DNA, so they can understand that. I like everything visual and they can see. And then the fossils. Neanderthals got lopsided, we can't straighten him up. And they're different. They love these little fossils. And then I just put displays on the wall. When I started here, I came in and it was bare bricks. There was nothing. I just love the bright colour, visuals, everything has to attract and the kids want to come in and want to learn. And then I started this is one of the first things, I just put questions up. Where did humans come from? And I'd gradually get pictures. Why do we look different? Where did animals evolve? And then we started doing Creation Sabbath programs with the kids, and one we did was on China, and I had to teach not to speak it, but to write the Chinese language, because they wrote the first 11 chapters of Genesis 1,000 years before Moses, and it was just so incredibly difficult. And I avoided doing it, but people begged me to do it, so I had to study for months the Chinese language. I started teaching the kids. I only had a small group, there were about 10 of us, and the kids loved it. Then a little 6-year-old came along, she learnt it. And then I went to see a Chinese doctor, and she said, "You've got it all correct. It's 100% correct." And so she lent us all Chinese clothes and all the different Chinese things. We had the up front of the church all decorated, and that was an amazing thing when we learnt the Chinese language, just how intelligent they are. And they were the first nation. There's no interruption from the Tower of Babel to today. And then we came, then unfortunately I got so many pictures, it spilled out the door, filled the door, and Joseph let me go up the hallway because everyone's got a hallway. And so it takes me about a week to do all this. And this is the 7 Seas of history. These beautiful pictures you get from the answers in Genesis VBS. Even if you just get a super starter kit, you get all these. They're beautiful. Where else do you get beautiful pictures like this? All of these are from Answers in Genesis. And there's some of the pictures, photos I took, and the beautiful ones on this side. Look at these. These are all from Answers in Genesis. This was a vacation Bible school we did. They are beautiful. And the children read these. One lady told me it was terrible coming to Port Macquarie Church because she got into church late after Sabbath school because she had to read the walls and it took her so long. And so we go down here. See, there's a trilobite. Now the hoodoos. Who knows about the hoodoos? We learn about everything. Geology. Look at the amazing... Do you know what the White Cliffs of Dover? It's on one of the little Moody Science ones, 10-minute ones. They're tiny little sea creatures. Tiny little microscopic. They're the most incredible design. And during the flood, that all formed. It's just amazing. And the formation. And these are all from volcanoes. And this is called talus. And the kids know all about that. They're like roof tiles. They're little pieces of the rocks that come off, that fall off because of the dew and in the cold weather. And that's how we know the world's not millions of years, because this would have been a straight rock and then the talus slowly forms. And if it was millions of years, there'd be none of these left. So there's always the cliff, the talus. So, and this is all from the Lake Missoula flood, the second biggest flood we know of since Noah's flood. And look at that. And once you learn all this, you teach the kids, I teach the kids to see the world through biblical eyes. You see the flood everywhere. Everywhere you look and you're watching television, and my eyes look into the background all the time. Look at the layers. How could they have formed? Dead flat. If it was millions of years, they lived on a flat earth. Crazy. These are all the calendars I talk about. And the calendars over here, these are beautiful. These are all calendars. Beautiful. These are all those pictures I showed you, and these for answers in Genesis. That's a cross between a tiger and a lion, so it's a liger. They're both the same kind. More pictures about the flood. And kids are able to understand how big the ark is. And they say 483 semi-trailers. And these are the flood legends. I go right to the end, and these are all Butte, Buddy Davis. The kids' pictures I put down lower. All the kids' pictures are lower, and if they're more difficult, I put them higher. Beautiful. You can get that from Answers in Genesis. There's just so much to do, and we've come further. There's more flood. See? Flood. And this is a photo I took as I was going through America. Look how incredibly flat during the flood, when it kept getting great heaps of dirt, different colour, and just waves as each tide came. Dead flat during the flood, just like that. So these are all some of the first pictures I ever got. And there's just more calendars. And down here we come to the Ice Age again. These are more calendars. And then here was the Ice Age creatures. This is when I went to a mammoth museum when I was in America, and this is more from Mount St. Helens, evidence for a young Earth. There's just so much evidence. It's interesting, these elks, they only had their babies, they had about one every 2 years. And when Mount St. Helens erupted, the scientists said it would be at least 100 years before they'd repopulate. Within 30 years, they had come back again. And what had happened, they started having twins and triplets until they repopulated, and then they went back to having one a year. Now, how does that happen? The programs I have done with the children, I ran a Creation Sabbath for 5 years in this room. It took 5 years to build this room up, so you don't do it in 5 minutes. So, and the children were thoroughly grounded. They knew the Bible so well. We not only did the creation, we did Doug Batchelor's series, and we also did Pilgrim's Progress. And the children, all of those children are very grounded in the Bible and still very active. They're in their early 20s now. And then children I was teaching, we decided when the Creation Sabbath started, when Dr. Tim Standish started it, about 10 years ago, I decided to do the program and the children run it, do the entire thing. So we worked all year on it and I taught them, and then I wrote the program for the church service and the children did the whole thing. I taught them how to publicly speak, public speaking. I also discipline, how to behave in church, how to dress. They always had their lovely Sabbath clothes, how to go up the front and how to come down, how to sing. They used to be the most beautifully behaved, and they were so proud that they could take the service, and a lot of them learnt their words off by heart. They're so beautifully behaved, and I remember one 82-year-old lady rang me from Kurrambong and told me she had been to the children's church service when we did on dinosaurs, the Creation Sabbath, and she couldn't believe how the church was so quiet for 90 minutes that the children were like robots. They kept popping up. I'd just hold up numbers or nod and they knew exactly what to do. It was a brilliant service, and she said the whole church was so quiet. It was one of the best church services she'd ever seen. We have a season of spiritual warfare. We bind all the demons so they don't interrupt, and the children are so quiet. It's worked every year we do it, and the children are so proud to take the service, and I really try and inspire them to tell them they're the evangelists of the future. They need to teach this to their parents, to teach it to their friends at school, and they need to know. So I give them the book awards so they've got things, and I try and get as many resources as possible. Each family has, I don't know how many DVDs, USB sticks, so they all learn, and if they've got time in the holidays, I tell them to watch them. And so we have done about 10 Creation Sabbaths, and one year God inspired me to do the service early. I prepared it in the April, and I couldn't understand why I was getting it prepared so early, but I had it all prepared and the songs that children were going to sing, and we practiced it all year. It was on the Ice Age, and then around just before we were doing it, my husband was diagnosed with cancer and pneumonia, and there was no way. I was too emotional to come to church and take it. But the church service went ahead. Just one of the mothers took on the instructions. The children knew exactly what to do, and they have been trained to do it, and they behaved beautifully. And we were very fortunate to have the dinosaur man, Rick Aquilera, come around, and we had the church full of children, with some adults, and they sat for 90 minutes. It was the most amazing program. But I had trained them about dinosaurs before. But they just keep learning, and they love creation, and they absolutely love it. And I am missing it so much during this COVID. I just pine for the day I can get back and start teaching them, because we've wasted so many months. So I hope people really get inspired. Start teaching the children, because there's so many topics. It's not the sort of thing they learn every day. It's different, it's exciting. And even the naughtiest child, or the worst prisoner in jails, loved nature, God's nature. And I can't speak highly enough of teaching creation. I will do it whilever my body allows me. One of the things that really surprises me is why the kids keep coming back to creation. Our numbers keep increasing, because I think when they go to adventures, they go to whale watching, they go to all exciting things and do all this exciting craft. When they go to Pathfinders, they go on camp, they do all these exciting things. When they come to creation, all they do is learn, and they have to sit there. We've trained them. It's been a lot of training. they sit there and learn. And earlier in the year, before COVID came, I showed quite a difficult, more advanced movie, not a movie, a program. And I have a lady who takes the younger ones out when they get restless. And I said, we'll see how long, and as soon as you get bored, the little ones can go. They sat for over an hour and no one moved, and they learnt so much. And then we have breaks. I'll say, right, 3 minutes, and they run like banshees outside. They run and run and run, and then when they're finished, they have a drink, go to the toilet, and they come back and learn. So I only have 2 hours a month. So every second is really important. I've trained them to arrive on time, no talking, no fiddling around, because they disturb others, and if they talk, the other people lose their concentration. So it's been a lot of training, but it's just fantastic, and I love it. And our numbers keep growing, and the new kids, I don't have to tell them, they just know, they see from the others how it's strict discipline, it's listening, it's learning, it's old-fashioned, and it's fun. They love it.